everyone, and welcome to the Danny Grieves Show. This is Scott Kirker, along with Metamora head coach Danny Grieves. Pretty happy Saturday afternoon, isn't it?
Good day.
Well, we'll go back a week or so. We'll go back to prior to, or just after we had our last show, kind of catch up here a little bit. You played in the Richwoods Regional.
Right.
First game was against Richwoods. They got to play on their home court.
Tough draw.
Tough draw. And, you know, when they were talking, I saw a little blurb in the Chicago Tribune, and they kind of critiqued all the regionals. And they didn't say much about the downstate ones, but they did say that the Peoria sectional
Right.
was one of the toughest in the state. They said there were as many as 4 teams that could win that.
I believe that too.
And
maybe more.
And potentially, maybe more.
Right.
Right. I thought that you going over to play at Richwoods with Washington looming in the background, kind of the way you probably want it.
Kind of remind us of, what, 2018?
Yeah, very much.
First round, Washington second round.
Yep.
But, you know, at this point in the season, you know, everybody's playing their best ball.
Mm-hmm.
And Richwoods I hadn't seen play in 2 years. You know, last year we just couldn't see anybody and didn't have any film on any of them. And this year we just didn't see them. So, you know, I knew they were talented because they got a resume where they had some really nice wins.
Right. 18-8, I believe.
Right. And so I knew they could play. But I really thought that if we could take away what they do best, that they would struggle to score, and that's exactly what happened.
You came into the regional, I believe, at 24-6.
Mm-hmm.
And you had been starting to play some pretty good basketball.
We did. You know, we had the game against Morton, the game before that against Washington.
To win the conference.
Which you know, and that had playoff atmosphere, there's no doubt.
Both
Same thing with the Morton game.
Yeah.
So we're 4 games in right now, but it seems like 6.
Yeah, it does. You played them on a Tuesday night. You went over there. You got a very impressive win, 20-point win against, I believe it was 77-57.
Correct.
And, you know, a pretty impressive
Could have been a 30-point win. I mean,
right.
Our bomb squad came in with -9 right there at the end.
Yeah. But you got everybody in the game.
Yes.
And, you know, those are guys that give you great looks every night in practice.
Those guys are the ones that have us prepared to play at night. You know what? I give those guys as much credit in our wins as the guys that are playing because they're so well prepared.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. And, you know, they're excited. When you guys call timeouts, man, that whole bench is up off the floor, and they're out on the
bench
court.
mob.
They are bench mob, and that's the, you know, true words have never been spoken. But a very impressive win. I thought you had very balanced scoring. You did a lot of nice things.
Yeah.
It set up a rematch.
Yeah, ball never died in anybody's hand.
No.
Just kept moving.
Kept moving. Made it very tough for teams to guard.
Right.
And you have 4 and 5 guys, and sometimes 6 that can score, and you know that makes it very tough. Teams can take away 2 or 3, but when you have 5, 6 guys,
right, pick and poison.
You know that makes it awfully tough.
Right.
I don't know if there's too many teams around here that have that many weapons.
Nope.
It set up that win against Richwood. Set up a very good game, or a very exciting game that Friday night against Washington, your conference rival.
Great crowd.
Oh.
You know, packed house. Everything on the line. You know, they tremendous tradition for them. They hate to lose, and we kind of dismembered them.
Yeah, you did. You let them. They stuck around for about maybe 2.5 quarters probably.
Right.
And I thought in the middle, I thought it was the 3rd quarter masked media timeout that's when you started to separate yourself.
Right.
And about midway through the 3rd quarter, you had about a 17, 18-point lead.
Well, I knew it was like 6 minutes left or 5.5, something like that. In the 3rd quarter, we were in the 1-and-1.
Yeah.
You know, the hack-a-shack idea of playing defense finally caught up to them.
Mm-hmm.
And we were knocking down some free throws, and it was a fun thing to watch.
Early in the 4th quarter, their best player, I thought, Drew Lewis, fouled out.
Right.
And it did take.
He's their heart and soul.
He is. And it took a little bit of the wind out of their sail.
Mapson's one of the guys too, but if you had to, you know, the strongest pillar in that whole deal is Lewis.
Coach, is part of that because he's the point guard? He kind of dictates your.
No, he's just the leader, man. You know, that guy, I'm so glad to see him. He seems like he's been there for 8 years.
He's been there a long
I'm
time.
glad to see him graduate. Yes. But you know what? Fine young man. You know, great competitor. He's the kind of guy that you want on your team.
Yeah. Yeah, you might be sending him a graduation card.
Yeah, you know it. And Mapson.
Yeah, they both were tough, and
yeah.
you forced them to do things, I thought, in that game that they really weren't comfortable doing.
No.
I thought one of the other just outstanding moves you made was in the first half you had Ethan Kaiser finesse defense on Mapson.
Right.
Second half you switched it up and you went with Tyson Swanson.
Yes.
And that just, he couldn't handle that. He was so flustered. He got fouled on a shot early in the third quarter. He bricked the first one and airballed the second.
Yeah, he was really frustrated.
And when that started to happen, things really started to go in your favor.
Tyson did a good job of keeping him away from the basket. The farther away from the basket, the less effective he is. Mm-hmm. And he's quick enough and strong enough to not let him just pound it inside. So, yeah, that was a nice little flip, but our kids did a great job guarding him. You know,
yeah.
And sometimes we had some help on them. They had to, you know, it was just overall a great team effort on defense, and those two guys really did a nice job. And, you know, Lewis and Mapson are their guys, and everybody else tries to get there. So, I was pleased with the effort.
You win the game, about a 14-point win. Impressive win. It was an impressive win. And, you know, you say, well, 14 points. It seemed like...
Well, they banked a 3 there at the end. It was more like a 20-point win.
Yeah, I was going to say, it felt more like a 15, 20-point win rather than a 14. It just seemed like they were completely out of the game. And it was 14 points, but that was as good as 20.
Yeah.
It set up a chance for you to go back to the Renaissance Center. Our luck at the Renaissance Center has been not so good.
Not in sectionals.
Not in sectionals. Some bitter memories. Your first game was against a pretty tough, well-coached Rochelle team.
Yes.
And they posed some problems. They
loved really light it up.
Light it up from the three-point land. I think you told me they shot something like 32 threes the game before.
Right. 17 and a half.
Yeah, wow. So yeah, they had some potential to be a tough competitor.
Right.
You took them out of the game early.
Well, they really struggled. If you took away what they do best, it was right-hand drives, kicks for wide-open shots. And we thought that if we could take them off their strong hand and make them go to their weak hand, they're not strong enough drivers for us to help. And then we just stayed out on their shooters, and after that, they didn't have anything. That was it. That's all they had.
It was early in the game that it became very apparent that you guys were going to impose your will.
They were big, but they were a little bit slow. Mm-hmm. They played a couple big guys that we knew we couldn't guard on the perimeter. Got the lead, spread them out, took it to the basket, ran some. So we did some really good job on time management on the clock.
Yeah. Yeah, you did a really nice job. And I read an article from their newspaper that their coach said Metamore did things that they couldn't duplicate and they couldn't make changes in just 2 days.
Right. And
that was very.
He couldn't change his style in 2 days.
No. And man, that was.
But the great thing was they were playing our style, and I knew we were better at our style than they were.
Yeah.
And so they kept pressing, and we kept breaking it and going down and getting easy buckets. And I was very pleased with the prep on this. It was amazing to have our kids go through all that prep and then put it into the game, and it was really fun to watch.
Yeah, and it was just a super impressive game. People that came to the game from both Rock Island. No, Rock Island had played us before. Manual had played us before.
Right.
So they had an idea, but I think some of their fans were probably a little surprised at just how good you truly were.
Right.
That game I thought was as impressive of a postseason game as I've seen in a long, long time.
I haven't seen a section in a long time that had a running clock.
No.
I mean, I've been here 11 years back, and I don't remember.
No, that was very impressive. You put the pressure then on both Rock Island and Manual. Mm-hmm. They had to. One of them was going to win and play us in a rematch. You've got wins. You had a 14-point win against Manual, and you had a 21-point win against Rock Island. one of them was going to get the short stick and get to play us.
And the good thing about playing both of them, you know, there's times that you go into a regional, even a sectional, and you don't know enough about the other team, and you don't really know deep in your heart if you have it, can you beat them?
Yeah.
Our kids already knew they could. Didn't matter who they played. We didn't pick one over the other. Kind of two different styles. Rock Island a little bit more talented and more organized, but then Manual's got that, you know, up and down, hully-gully kind of style that, you know, late in the season they get good at, and they did again.
Yep.
So we were going to take on any comer. It didn't matter.
Yeah, one team was speed and run and quickness. The other team was, Rock Island was more physical, big guys. And
that's one of the things that Rochelle really loved to do was push the ball. And if you notice, they run that sideline break. They got one shot out of the whole game out of that whole break.
Yeah.
You know, and the kid hit it, as a matter of fact, second quarter.
I think their leading scorer ended up with 5 points.
Yeah.
Yeah, Drew Tucker did a pretty solid job on him.
Pretty good stuff.
You get that win. Manual and Rock Island play the next night. Play a great game, overtime game, exciting back and forth. I think Manual had a 9-point lead early in the game.
Sure did.
Rock Island came back, and we saw how they can come back.
That 1-3-1, long and tall, physical,
and quick. And
I thought late last night, you know, we were going through that, but all of a sudden, when they were making their run, those referees just swallowed their whistle. You know, and it wasn't anything that we could have done better other than, you know, just take the beating and hold on to the ball. But, you know, that 1-3-1 is really good. And we saw the effects that it had against Manual because the game was almost over.
Yeah, we were up 20, and it looked like it was.
Yeah.
There was a large lady getting ready to sing.
Right.
But that was a, you know, great crowd from Metamore, and I thought there was an advantage of playing Rock Island over Manual. Rock Island wasn't going to bring that vocal local crowd to Renaissance Center. They brought a nice crowd,
because when the game was on the line, Manual and Rock Island, you know, the Manual crowd was kind of quiet at times. And then it got down to the nitty gritty. Place came alive, and it's like a home game for them.
Yep. And
they thought there was a lot of people there that night. That place would have been swarming with Manual fans, you know, because they really do represent. I love the way they follow their team.
They're the pride of Peoria in basketball.
Yeah, they are.
And they get behind. And then other schools, it's Peoria versus the suburbs, and they, you know, there's a lot of pride there.
Right.
And so yeah, it would have been an even bigger crowd. But I love the size of our crowd.
Our crowd, man, they travel. They do a great job. They're our sixth man.
Yeah.
It's been that way all year long. You know, we went 11-0 at home. You know, we've had a lot of road wins too with big crowds and support, and you know, our kids feel that.
So you came out last night, Friday night. You played a rematch with Rock Island. Rock Island, I thought this time made more of a concerted effort to get the ball down to Beal.
We knew the first play of the game was going to go inside, and sure enough it was.
Yeah.
And then he made the shot. Number 11, Nimmers, yells out, "It's over. The game's over. You guys are finished." Because I knew they thought they was going to go inside. But
all night.
It really did tell me that was the game plan. And bottom line is we figured that he's going to get his, all right, maybe a little bit more. But as long as we keep Nimmers not getting his, and he didn't, he got half of his points, and let the other guys try to beat us, because that guard can really go.
Oh,
you know.
They had a couple guys, I thought.
So you got to give up something. Now we made a little bit of adjustment late, and you know, our guys did a good job of, you know, just hanging on.
You realize that they scored the first bucket of the game. That was their only lead of the game.
Yeah.
You guys tied it up and then took the lead and then never gave it back.
Never gave it back.
And I thought that was huge. You know, you and I have talked over the years about mental toughness, and a lot of times that's why you lose games, because you're not mentally tough enough.
And then you bend and break. And our guys, we bend but we don't break.
Your schedule put him in a position to not panic.
Right.
And gave them confidence that they knew the other team. Your kid, you knew it, we knew it. Most of the people in our stands knew Rock Island was going to make a run.
Right.
And your
too much tradition, too much pride, too many seniors. They had 10 seniors.
10 seniors, and a good team.
Yes.
And they weren't going to go away. They weren't going to fold up the tents.
Correct.
So they were going to make a run. and your kids withstood it, and mental toughness. When you needed to make shots, when you needed to make free throws, even when you missed them, you got the rebound. Tyson Swanson
That was
missed
pretty
him.
good stuff.
And then they had to foul him. Fouled their, I think, second leading scorer out of the game.
Mm-hmm.
And then Tyson calmly went up and sank 2 more free throws.
It was nice to get that last steal even. They didn't get a shot off. That was cool.
Yeah. And
because if they scored, they had no more timeouts. We weren't going to touch the ball. We just let it bounce.
Yeah, you were in a great position right there, but they didn't even get the shot off.
It's nice to make those last 2 free throws. He hit the big one, I called the timeout.
Yep.
Hit the second one, I called the timeout. And just told him, look, it's over if we do this. And it sure was.
It was. I thought there were different times in that game last night, though, that your kids really, the lights didn't seem to be too bright.
No.
And the two guys that I really, you look at your core 4, you've grown to expect that from them.
Right.
But the two guys that really,
Tyler Mason.
And Matthew Zobers.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, we've invested a lot in them, and they've invested a lot in us. You know, they put in the time and the energy and the effort and the extra work and the shooting and the ball handling. You know, and I think Matthew played more games than anybody in the state this year, freshman, sophomore, varsity.
Mm-hmm.
And then, we just tried to get him as ready as we could for the postseason or the postseason run, or, and then there was some setbacks. He hurt his foot, and he got sick a little bit, and just a little bit of everything. And Mason was the same thing. He was in a boot, and so we knew that if we could get whole for the end of the year run, that would be pretty solid.
Yeah.
Now with those guys, we missed Wheaton. I mean, we missed a little bit of everybody at some point in time.
Mm-hmm.
But the energy that the others brought in, and then the experience they got, I mean, they were road tested, even though they might not even need a game. Take a look at our bigs last night.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't even get in. They've been starting. I mean, how many games did Jake start this year and have total impact? I mean,
yeah.
And now we got guys like, DeFrance sitting on the bench hardly getting to play. And last year it was all conference.
Yeah.
We got guys like Solomon Schwartz coming in. And, he was a major factor last year and just giving us some minutes. And now he can't even get on the floor. But they don't have a bad attitude. It's all, it's been all positive. And the momentum that they've got together from that, and the team chemistry that's brought, it's a basketball family. And they have finally got together. We were kind of fractured and splintered all year long for whatever reason. And I don't think I've seen a better team attitude and a bunch of guys bring chemistry together since I've been here. I mean, they're really fun.
They have come together.
Very unselfish.
That's kind of a staple, though. But you're right. This team really shows on this team. The thing that really just amazed me last night is I think it was early in the 4th quarter. Zach Schroeder got his 4th foul.
Mm-hmm.
And he's the Drew Lewis of our team.
Right. He's our senior.
And they were pressing, and they, like you said, that press was tough. And I look out on the floor, and I see the guys bringing up the ball. It's a freshman and a sophomore.
Yeah.
Man, that's something else. I mean,
and 3 juniors.
And 3 juniors, but the guys that are breaking that press were a freshman and a sophomore.
Yeah. Pretty high level game for a freshman sophomore. And look good doing it.
And had no problems.
Yeah.
And when you came out of the halftime locker room, you needed somebody to kickstart you getting going that second half.
Yeah.
Tyler Mason had 7 quick points.
Yes, he did.
And played incredible defense.
He's really come on. And but the work ethic that he has, I mean, nobody gets up more extra shots than him. He's the first one there, last one to leave a lot. He hangs around at lunch. I mean, I got quite a few guys I see all day long, and it's been fun to see them grow into the people and the players they are at this point.
Yeah, it was wow. It was just amazing, and you come away with the 4-point win, 68-64, and that sends you on to the next level,
right.
Super sectional in Ottawa, a gym you're very familiar with.
Kind of almost a second home for us.
Boy, yeah, that's for sure, and they've been unbelievably nice up there in the tournaments that we've gone up and played.
What did we win? 7 out of 9 tournaments?
7 out of 9 tournaments. You've had a great run. kind of outgrew that tournament.
It was kind of funny. That's where some of these kids got their start, was the back gym at Ottawa.
Yeah, as underclassmen.
Yes, they sure did.
And that was the nice thing about that tournament. It was also an underclass tournament.
Right.
And it was always so nice, great hospitality room.
Yeah, good food.
Yeah, it was. And now you play a Wheaton St. Francis team.
Who's very solid.
Very, very good team.
You know, they play in a decent league. They've got some nice wins over some folks. I don't think they have the total schedule that we have.
No.
I think they're very beatable. Out of the 4 teams that are left that we could have played, I think we got the best draw.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and now you can kind of brag and say, you know, the Tribune said our sectional was one of the toughest in the state. You won that sectional.
Sure did.
And, you know, you going to get some respect now from the Tribune?
Probably not.
Probably not. Probably not. And we owe St. Francis. They beat us in 2008 in a state football championship.
Did they really? Okay, that's good to
know. And we owe them. And it'd be nice to, you know, end their season. But it's going to be fun. Monday night in Ottawa. It's a 50-minute drive.
Yep. 7 o'clock.
7 o'clock.
It'll be a packed house.
It's going to be a packed house in one of the greatest high school gyms in the state. One of the nicest.
Yep.
It's an old gym, but it is a really, really cool
totally
gym.
refurbished.
Yep.
Very nice.
Very, very nice. Nice people up there too.
They put a nice shine on that gym.
Yes, they
really did.
Yep. Coach, man, it's been a lot of fun, hasn't it?
I told our guys, man, you know, just we're going to enjoy every win all year long. Stay in the moment. We've tried to do that. You know, we don't look ahead. I told them after practice today, we don't have a game on Monday. We got to practice on Sunday at 2 o'clock. All right, that's as far as we're going to, you know, look forward. So, and we plan ahead. We don't look ahead.
Right.
And our kids have done a great job of living in the moment and just enjoying each other and watching the growth that they've had, you know, socially and morally and athletically and team-wise throughout the season. Has been fun to watch, man. It's makes you proud.
Because right now you're really making memories.
No, there's no doubt, making history and memories.
Yes.
They'll tell these stories to their grandkids.
Oh yeah.
Back in the day, I remember.
Yep.
Now they'll be better than they were now, but you know, that's good stuff.
Yeah, all of them dunked, and
right.
they had 360 dunks. They had shots 8 feet behind the line. Now the only one that can say that is Devin Dunn, but the rest of them.
And Matthew.
Oh, that's
true.
true.
That 3 you hit over Bradley, that was beyond the NBA 3.
Yeah, that was okay. You're right. There's 2 guys that can actually say that they really did hit.
But those are big shots. How many guys have we had hit big shots that are still on our team? I mean, come on, man. You got to admit, the strength of our team is in the pack. It's like a wolf pack, man. You know.
Yeah.
And I'm really proud of them that, you know, they can. We got so many guys that could start and be stars in other teams, but they have, you know, sacrificed, given up of themselves for the betterment of the good cause of the team. And so, you know, as a coach, I mean, if you get to that point, you'll get a lot of success with wins and losses.
Yeah, and you know, I was watching your practice today, getting ready for Monday, and you know, you watch your practice and you watch the intensity of your kids.
Right.
You know, you don't always get that. You get that maybe from your first 6 or 7 guys, but you saw guys out there that were basically your scout team.
Scout team is amazing.
And they're out there taking it to some
of your just think about this. Our scout team got us ready for our first game of the sectional and ran all Rochelle stuff better than Rochelle ran. I mean, that was really cool.
That's unbelievable.
And that's, you know, that's their pride.
Yeah.
You know, you got pride in what you do and the task at hand. You know, our guys have bought in, and it's been fun to watch.
Well, Coach, wish you good luck Monday night, and I know that you'll represent Metamora and Metamora High School unbelievably, and the town of Metamora will be up there.
Oh, you know they will.
So good luck. It's been a great run.
Thank you very much.
And we're not done. There's still more run to go.
Right.
That'll do it for the Danny Grieves Show. We'll see you in Ottawa Monday night.